Now let's take a look at challenges and opportunities as we look ahead. As we sit here in January of 2022, let's focus on the year ahead. Let me kind of reverse the order a little bit here and start with you, Elizabeth, on just thoughts for 2022 and challenges and opportunities.
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously COVID is still very much in front of mind for a lot of people. This has been something that we've all had to adapt to the past couple of years, and it's looking like, we're gonna have to continue adapting, especially in an industry that typically involves a lot of travel. We're gonna have to continue revising our travel expectations and just be fluid with the situation. And to go along with that, I do think we'll see an increase in industry-wide burnout with companies needing to optimize and increase automation for labor shortages. There's also been an increased demand for factory automation services. I think many of us have seen this past year, and I think it's just important to recognize that that trend is going to continue, and just be on the lookout for just industry-wide burnout. On the flip side, for opportunities, I think there's definitely an opportunity for more enterprise and cloud SCADA solutions. As labor shortages increase the demand for automation, more companies will start to have multiple plants with SCADA systems, and I think this will lead to an increased interest in the ability to view data across plants. And obviously, from a programmer's point of view, it's also nice to have that central EAM server where you can host shared resources and maintain all of your plant-wide SCADA systems.
That's great. I think you're right. I think we're going to see a tremendous amount of movement in that area. We're already noticing it happening and sort of building sort of the enterprise approach and data shared across large enterprises and dashboards that bring data from everywhere to where it needs to be is clearly happening on a more rapid rate now. Ryan, over to you. Actually, I said I was going to go in reverse order, but I just didn't. So I just grabbed your name, Ryan. So go ahead.
It's okay if you want me to pass and come back to me.
No, go ahead. Go for it.
All right. I think the biggest single challenge is the talent shortage, and that's exacerbating demand from our customers. I think I heard some Micro, the Dirty Jobs guy, made some reference. It probably wasn't specific to manufacturing, but where before you had 5 people, now you have 2. And I'm not sure whether the numbers are right or otherwise, but just think about that in terms of skilled trades, in terms of engineers, in terms of operators, and I'm seeing that the war for talent and the talent that does ignition kind of work is heating up, and you have entirely new players with entirely different funding models competing for the same resources. And so you've got, we had a guy on my team that, great guy, great job on projects, loved the environment, and Amazon drove a truckload of money. I won't even begin to describe the truckload of money they drove up to him, and he couldn't help but take it. Now, I think that also affords an opportunity that, as we all learn to compete with players like that, players that are frankly completely coming from different worlds, those who are nimble are going to benefit. And I think that if you're good at the talent war, that is going to be a critical asset, and you're likely to take share from others. I would also say that for me personally, it's kind of interesting to go from 1994 and controls engineer. I kind of weren't exactly the most popular person at the dance, and now all of a sudden you are. And I think naturally we are a collaborative group, and the cutthroat competition of the 90s and so on. I think it just is a great environment for us to share and bring our collective knowledge to more customers faster. And see the small and mid-sized manufacturers finally benefit from all this digital technology that has kind of been wrapped up and locked away by the Procters and Gambles and Cokes and Goodyears and whoever else. Small and mid-sized companies just didn't have access to the kind of talent, and so I think that's a real opportunity, is serving a customer base that is underserved and getting to cooperate with people to do good.
Actually, Ryan, I think you make an extremely good point there. And the technology is there for us to democratize the data, but the business model has to follow suit also, I think, to open the door through a more collaborative approach and bring these opportunities to manufacturers who maybe couldn't afford to play the game before because the business model was maybe more top down, more large deployments and a higher price tag to play the game to enhance their industrial automation strategy. So I couldn't agree with you more. I think there's a great opportunity for an ecosystem of collaborators because no one of us has all the answers. So we need our common skill, the overlapping skills and the overlapping technologies that we bring to the party to really serve those customers and serve a broader swath of customers too. So thanks for your comments on that. Reese, how about your thoughts?
Yeah, well, I'm gonna piggyback off of our success story of last year and talk a little bit about growth. I think in this bundle is both challenges and opportunities this year. Growth is a great thing, but for me as a team lead, I'm also worried about healthy growth and what that looks like. So as we grow, it's a continual balancing act of making sure team members are not only excelling and having everything they need to create the best solution possible, but also not overwhelming them or spreading them too thin. So I really think the key to that is, one, communication, and two, having a plan for the growth that the team can understand the bigger picture and where we're heading. And one of the things that we've done here that has worked really well is create a space for that honest and transparent communication between team leads and team members. This happens every 2 weeks, and it's just a quick 15-minute pulse check, but it's a great avenue to keep in communication with how folks are doing, making sure everyone is cared for as growth occurs. I know we're all guilty of getting into the throes of clients and engagements and tasks, and sometimes forget to have these meaningful conversations. So it's a simple idea to help put some structure and intentionality around the health of our employees. And then, as I mentioned, having a plan for the team to understand where the ship's heading. As leaders, we definitely need to have a team goal for our members to rally around. And not only have a goal, I guess, but as growth occurs, helping new members understand that goal, so we're all marching at the same beat. And again, another example of something we've tried and I feel like worked pretty well. Actually, just a few weeks back, we did what we call the team retrospect, and we coined the term the Ignition Team Summit. And it was just a time to kind of do what we're really doing right now on this webinar, but looking back at what went well and what didn't, and then project onto this new year and see what we can capitalize on and maybe what we can avoid. And it was a great time to spark conversations on many different experiences around the team, creating a common goal to shoot for in the new year that everybody could get on board with. So I think those are a few things that we've worked through in this past year, and really opportunities of a lot of different possibilities of what we came up with in that retrospective and the upcoming year. So yeah.
That's great. Thanks, Reese. Jeremiah.
I think I kind of share the sentiment of growth with my panel peers as a challenge. Scaling without compromising quality, I think, is important for us all. Shifting to a client or an end user perspective, I think there's a lot of moving pieces in the space and a lot of competing and antiquated technologies at play. I see unifying these different OT systems being a challenge, and you start to expand out into the enterprise or across different industrial facilities or processes. I also see Ignition with its perspective components competing very confidently against other HTML5 solutions in the enterprise. One client recently was asking us to come in and look at the work they were doing with Ignition that was in flight. They had Edge, MQTT, local Ignition instances. at a central location. And I think what was so great about Ignition is you can download, start working through these solutions right away. The conversation was kind of structured around how do we scale this, and how do we scale this in a way that makes sense and do so in a cost-effective way. More importantly, what are the pain points to scaling this? It's purely driven from the enterprise directives around data collection, standardization, visualization, dashboarding. It's fun and challenging to solve these problems because they're often unique to each end user's environment. On the other side of the coin, I think every operational technology center or business unit is a potential to unlock more data and insights. Ignition is great for solving these problems with edge nodes or Ignition Edge and SurgeLink modules to pump data out of these data assets. I also see a tremendous opportunity to take that concept and apply it holistically to the enterprise into a converged IT and OT system that's simple, scalable, and secure for end users. Done.
Great, thanks, Jeremiah. Okay, Jan, why don't you wrap us up on this look ahead to 2022 challenges and opportunities?
Thank you. Yeah, well, I think I talked about Kevin Kelly before and his ideas on becoming, and resulting in everything in a constant change. So one of the results that coming out of that I see as a challenge is that the clients are getting more impatient. So they tend to think in shorter terms, both when it comes to time and when it comes to money. So they have a shorter patience on return of investment and when they want something to work. So that's a challenge, simply to get something working in front of the client as fast as possible. It brings down the cost, and it certainly brings down the risk for the client. But at the same time, that also constitutes some opportunities for all of us, because with Ignition as a platform, we can productize as far as it goes. We can standardize systems and deliveries and build something like simple models. We call them 80% ready out of the box, something like that. We don't build specific products per se, but you can build something that resembles products and bring that fast in front of the client to simply get something working fast and affordable. And then I can't help it, coming from Sweden, that I think one huge opportunity here ahead of us, and as we are talking about the shortage of staff, hey, where's all the young women in all of this? Simply looking at this panel, Elizabeth, you're the only one here, and coming from one of the most egalitarian and gender equal countries on planet Earth, we need more women in this. So there's a huge potential for all of us to bring more younger, smart, well-educated women into this space. There are too many guys like us guys basically sitting on the panel here tonight, my type of guys. So we should just retire and get ourselves out of here and let the younger women take over. That was just my thoughts on that.
That's great, Jan. I think it is time for talk about the silver tsunami, the silver-haired old men that need to retire and make way for that next generation. So that's one thing that our COO, Wendy Heckman, is constantly talking about and harping on, is the evolution of more professional women into this space is, I think, a critical component. So thanks for your thoughts.